Very good morning to all my dear learners. How are you? I hope you all are safe and fine at your places. And I must believe the learning process is really going on well. And my dear students, as you all know that what exactly we are learning nowadays is physiology, sports injury. In physiology, we need to think about anatomy, we need to think about physiology. When we think about anatomy, it means the structure of the body, the bones and all. When we deal about the physiology, the functioning of the internal organs. As we all know, the our body consists of so many internal organs. We have different organ systems in our body. If you think about the various organ systems, these organ systems like digestive system, the organ systems like respiratory system, the organ systems like other systems like circulatory system, right students? So circulatory system, digestive system, and so many systems, right? So our body have a different kind of system. If you want to talk about the various systems like the reproductive system, excretory system, respiratory system, circulatory system, digestive system, hormonal system, we have so many systems in our body. And that is why anatomy and physiology are very, very important to study. And it's a part of major concern. Let's have a look on it. First thing, if we talk about digestive system, are various kind of juices that are secreted by the different organs like pancreas, gallbladder and so many things. And the digestion of food, that is the which is occurred in the stomach. These all things tell us about the digestive system, the proper digestion of food. Next thing if you're going to talk about is the excretory system. Excretory system, the major role is played by the kidney, the removal of the nitrogenous waste. If we're going to talk about the hormonal secretion, that's the thyroid gland and various hormonal secretions are there which tell us about the puberty and so many things, various form for working in our body. If we're going to talk about the reproductive system, the continuity of species, the continuity of population and so many things occur in that case also. Next thing, if you're going to talk about the circulatory system, so circulatory system is all depends upon what we call the heart and the working of the heart. Next thing if I'm going to talk about is our next system, that is the respiratory system. Respiratory system is basically dealing with the lungs, okay, the working of the lungs and so many things. So basically what we understood here when we're dealing with all the situations is that physiology is very important concern to go for. If we talk about the next thing, that is the physical fitness or component of physical fitness. As you are aware that we have 5 physical fitness components. The very first component is the strength. We should know how to improve the strength. What are the physiological factors on which the strength based? We should know on which physiological factors the endurance based. We should also know on which physiological factors the speed, the flexibility based upon. Okay students, so that is why this chapter is very, very important. This topic is very important to go through. Even though if you talk about the sports injuries, so to deal with the sports injury is also very important part, because sports injury will definitely tell us that if there is any injury occur while playing game or some kind of thing, so it will help us to overcome that, it will help us to prevent, and we'll be able to learn about the basic principles of first aid, the principles of sports injury. If we simply talk about first aid, so first aid is so general, so easy, so effective, that first aid, if whenever we are talking, so first aid is all about the temporary care given to the victim. So whenever there is a sports injury to a player, so it is very important to have a first aid. It means giving the first aid care to the victim. Like whenever there is a injury to a player, so we should our first thing or basic point is to concern for the stoppage of the blood, to wrap the injury with the cloth, to keep the crowd away, and we should think about the ABC. And if you know in the previous lecture I have shared with you is that ABC, that is the airway, breathing and circulation. So the circulation of blood is really, really important part if you're going to concern. right? As you all know this, I am giving you one quick review of the last lecture. If you're going to talk about the sports injury, the sports injury are of two types: soft tissue injury and hard tissue injury. And hard tissue injury. In soft tissue injury, we are dealing with the skin related problem and muscle related problem, right? So, injuries over skin, injuries over muscles. That is covered under the soft tissue injury. If we talk about hard tissue injuries, we have injuries over bone and dislocation. If we talk about dislocation, so dislocation is basically concerning with the muscles as well as bone, right? Whenever the bone dislocates from the original position, we covered or we understood that yes, there is a dislocation of bone. It means we need to concern about that our bones as well as muscles. When we talk about bone injuries, so bone injuries, these are basically related to fracture. Now the point comes about what about fracture, what exactly the fracture is. So fracture may be open fracture, open fracture. Next thing is closed fracture, right? So open fracture as well as closed fracture. Dislocation, if I'm going to talk about, is dislocation is basically concerning with the when the adjoining bones, when the bones which are connected together, if they are displaced from one part to another, if they are displaced from their original position, we call it dislocation, right? So today what we are going to learn, what we are going to discuss is that we are going to learn about the management of the soft tissue injury. We'll also be going to learn about the management of hard tissue injury, right dear students? So here now I'm going to tell you in detail what is soft tissue injury exactly and how to cure this soft tissue injury, right dear students? So let's begin with this session and let us start the understanding of the management of soft tissue injury. Okay? Let's start the learning process of contusion, abrasion, laceration and incision, right? So students, when I'm going to start it, so I would just like to tell you that this soft tissue injuries, right? Right now we are dealing with the soft tissue injury. Okay? When I'm telling you about soft tissue injury, it means basically I'm concerning for the contusion, abrasion, laceration and incision, right? So let's have a talk about contusion. What is contusion? Contusion is basically a soft tissue injury. Contusions occur whenever the person is harmed by a blunt object. Whenever a person is harmed by the blunt object, there may be the patches, violet color, green color patches on the skin, on the muscles. When this contusion occurs, it will not disturb the continuity of muscles. It leads to the acute kind of pain. So contusion, if you go through it properly, it's a soft tissue injury. It's severe blown by the blunt object over the skin without breaking the continuity of muscles. Violent external force is applied when the body, so by the blunt object, it definitely lead to contusion. Contusion lead to acute pain, and it may happen that sometimes due to contusion, or basically always due to contusion, the person lost the function of injury, that injured part, right? So whenever the person who is getting things like whenever there is a contusion over the skin, he started to lose that functioning part. Because see that whenever the contusion occur now, so there will be a lot of problems regarding the pain, regarding the injury, and so many things, right? So it leads to a great pain, but it is for the acute time, it is for short time. It leads to swelling over the body, and it leads to discoloration. The color of the muscles will be changed. So discoloration of the muscle part, sometimes reddish, sometimes bluish, blackish. These kind of marks will come over the skin. Now whenever there is a problem regarding the soft tissue injury, it means the skin or muscles, the very first thing we need to focus is that we need to provide ice. Okay, so we should apply ice to upon that particular injury. Second thing is antiseptic we should go for. Third thing is cold compression after some time to time we should go for. Anti-inflammatory whenever there is when it is a contusion. Contusion it means there is no blood, nothing else, just a swelling, just a green yellow patches. So you should go for the anti-inflammatory creams. You should apply anti-inflammatory cream. When I am talking about anti-inflammatory cream, मतलब जो सूजन आपका कम करे. You should also go for the massage of that particular body part. Got it this point? Let's come on the abrasion. बेटा जब भी मैं abrasion की बात करूँगा, you imagine yourself कि आप सीढ़ी से उतर रहे हो और आप गिर गए. जैसे ही आप गिरे आपकी बॉडी घिस गई पूरी तरीके से, आपका एल्बो रीजन, आपका नी रीजन और आपका पाम वाला रीजन, ये सब घिस जाते हैं, राइट? दैट इज द एब्रेशन. सो एब्रेशन क्या होता है बच्चे? व्हेन द सॉफ्ट स्किन, द सुपरफिशियल स्क्रीन फ्रिक्शन के कारण, स्क्रबिंग के कारण रब हो जाना किसी स्क्रीन के ऊपर, राइट? सो व्हेनेवर एब्रेशन एक्चुअली ऑकर व्हेन द स्किन और द सॉफ्ट टिश्यू यूजुअली इट इज जनरली ऑकर ओवर द सरफेस ऑफ द स्किन. It is scraped, rubbed by friction. It is scraping, it is rubbing of skin or due to friction. It leads severe kind of pain. And expressed sometimes blood vessels comes out. Sometimes it's when it is so severe, it can lead any kind of problem. Okay, students, got it? So what I basically mean is that this expressed blood vessels, superficial layers also scraped off. Sometimes see how it occurs. What are the basic causes over it? The basic causes over it is sliding. So sometimes जब आप slide कर रहे हो, so it may happen. आप slip हो गए किसी तरह से, so it will happen. It is generally occurred over the knees region. It is generally occurred with the palm region. These are some basic reasons it occur out of this kind of things. Like now if I'm going to talk about the next kind of problem, the next kind of problem is laceration. What is the next kind of problem? The next kind of problem is laceration. What exactly is laceration is about? So laceration is a irregular cut, the first thing. If you talk about, the very first thing is that it is an irregular cut. Tearing of skin. It is occurred due to the blunt object or sometimes sharp object. Laceration is generally seen in skating, it is always seen in basketball and football, fencing and rugby and so many games. Right? It is generally a deep cut, sometimes with a sharp object, sometimes with the blunt object. It may lead to the outlet of the internal parts. Right? So it's a deep cut. Let's suppose if you take nail and nail से आपने हाथ कट गया, या फिर when you were playing basketball, so that harnesses may harm you on that time, so it may occur in that particular time, right? So laceration is a very serious injury, and it is considered as a minor injury in terms of sports because it is over the skin, right, or muscles. It affects the skin or muscles. It does not change the mobility, right? It is for the short period of time, right? So basically, if you want to see that what is the management of this injury, if you talk about abrasion and then if you talk about the laceration, what is the management, right? So let me first tell you about the management of laceration, management of abrasion, right? Okay, students, the very first thing is to avoid further friction. If you have occurred laceration, right, right students, if there is abrasion, आप उस पर्टिकुलर प्लेस पे फिर से फ्रिक्शन होकर एब्रेशन नहीं होना चाहिए. It is so simple. See, abrasion is what exactly? Abrasion is injury on the surface of skin. In this injury, skin is scraped or rubbed by friction. It is causes severe pain and sometimes bleeding over affected part. It exposes the blood vessels and the superficial layers of the skin is scraped off. This injury is commonly over sliding, slipping over surface, abrasion common over the knees, elbow and palm. Next thing, student, that I am going to tell you is we should avoid further, if we do see the first aid management, so we should avoid the further abrasion over it. We should clean the part with the antiseptic, wash it properly with soap or a preventive infection so that the infection can be prevented. It tears the tissue in the body by the sharp object, so may be external or internal. So the incision require the skin is torn out and wound is open, right? So at least it will dry up soon and there will not be any problem. If we're going to talk about laceration, okay? If we're going to talk about laceration, so laceration is basically it's the first aid. If you're going to think about or talk about the first aid management of laceration. So as we all know that laceration or incision requires a considered wound, and as they are wounds, so laceration is a type of wound and it happens over the soft tissues, right? When it open to the soft tissue, right? So the first aid management of laceration and incision is clean the surface. Very first thing, you clean the surface with the antiseptic. Now the point comes is which antiseptic we should go for. So basically, student, you can go for the antiseptic like Neosporin. So here you will get the name of one antiseptic. The name of that antiseptic is Neosporin. If there is blooding, so stop blooding at the earliest by the compression or by pressing, put compression bandages, right, students? And to put compression bandage, cover the affected part with medicinal cotton bandage or apply band-aid. Repeat this dressing, padding over the wounds. If bleeding continues, then apply further pads and dressing should be continued for the longer duration. Apply ice and cold compression after some time. After some days, you apply it. If injury is deep, go for stitches. Okay, if the blooding is not stopping and if it is so deep, if the injury is so deep, then you will have to go for the stitches at the earliest. Avoid the infection by putting medicinal cream over it. Care should be taken till the injury is totally healed up. So we should be very careful till the injury is done, right? So basically, students, when we talk about contusion, when we talk about abrasion, laceration or incision, we need to think about the antiseptic, we need to think about the dressing and so on. Last topic, that is the incision. So if we talk about incision, so wounds, it is a wound, it is done by a sharp object, like it may be occurred due to the razor, it may be occurred due to the knife. So sometimes arteries, veins, and these all things may be cut and come out. Incision is also deep and it's a blood vessel. Usually the blood started to come out. All for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All these 4 kind of problems can only be overcome by one thing. Now you are asking me, what is the one thing? The very first thing is that you should go for first is clean it with antiseptic. As in when you clean it with antiseptic, your next part is to wash it or do it dressing again and again. Okay, if it is required, you go for the stitches. If the stitches required, so you must be taking care of all these things, right? So I hope you clear with contusion, which is occurred by the blunt object. I hope you also clear by the abrasion, which is generally occurred by the surface by friction, right? So contusion is served blown by an object without breaking the continuity of the muscle. If we talk about the abrasion, so it's just because of the soft tissue injury and it is scrapped up the functioning and etc. If we talk about laceration, so laceration is an irregular cut and tearing of the object, right? And it's generally occur in the skating, basketball and fencing. If you're gonna talk about the incision, so one sharp edge object like knife, razor and all, it may lead to incision. So this is what we had discussed about the skin injury, that is the soft tissue injury. Okay dear students, now the next thing that I am going to tell you will be based on the muscle injury. It is based on the muscle injury. So if you want to talk about muscle injury, the very first thing is cramp. What is the very first thing? Cramp. So let me rub it and let's continue with that also. Let's rub it quickly and we will talk about the muscle injury. Okay, skin injury we had done. Now we are going to talk about the management of soft tissue muscle injury. First is cramp. Cramp occurred when there is a problem in the muscles to contract properly. Okay, when contact means contract, contraction and relaxation. Okay, so when we talk about cramp, so let me just tell you what exactly cramp is about and how exactly cramp works and what is the problems one have to face in cramp. Okay my students, so cramp is the inability of muscles to contract properly causing severe pain over joint. Whenever there is a cramp, so see students, whenever we talk about this, cramp, strain or sprain, right? So cramp is also muscle injury. Second thing is strain. And third thing is sprain. In all these three activity, if your lactate threshold is good, then there is no problem. If it is not, then there is a lot of problem. Lactate thresholds gives boost of your muscles. It helps to lead so many good things. If your lactate threshold is good, the lactic acid deposition into the bloodstream or sometime in the muscles will started not to mix with it, and it will give you a great sensation for it. So whenever we talk about cramp, basically, right? So as we all know that cramp is the inability of our muscles to contract properly. What is cramp? Cramp is the inability of our muscles to contract properly. Or in another word, if I am saying the unbalanced contraction of the muscles. What is cramp? It is the unbalanced contraction of the muscles. Cramp the causes of the cramp are due to the overstraining. It means doing work without rest. So in cramp, if you do work without rest, right? Doing work without rest. It means longer duration activity. You can take 600 meter run, 600 meter run or walk. So whenever we do exercise for the longer duration, and when we do this exercise for the longer duration, it may lead you into the severe problems, and these severe problems are cramp. Now the very first thing that we need to understand, what is the management? Okay, what is the management of the soft tissue injury? How will you manage it? So the very first thing that we need to keep in mind is the management is, see, first if you having cramp, first thing is that you should go for on the regular basis whenever this problem is occur. So you should aware about the things, that is the very first thing is go for yogic asanas. If you perform yoga, if you perform various asanas on the regular basis, then there will not be so much problems. Now the question is how? The question is like that, ki bache, when you go for asanas, there will be the stretchability, elasticity of your muscle will increase. And as and when the elasticity, the stretchability of your muscle will increase, there will not be so many problems regarding the muscles. Got it what I'm saying? So it is just only depends upon the, how you are leading your muscles to be healthy. Okay, so first aid of cramp. First thing, right? The very first thing that we needed to think here upon is first aid of cramp is complete rest to the affected individual. If you are affected, if you have cramp, you need rest. Your muscles require rest. So if your muscles require rest, you should go for rest, right? Rest is very important whenever there is a cramp, because see, muscles are not able to stretch properly, muscles are not able to contract properly, muscles are having low stretchability, low elasticity, so it definitely requires rest. So one should go for rest. Now see, bache, if you have this all kind of problems, whenever there is a cramp, it means your body requires salt. So you just mix salt in a glass of water and you just drink it. You can also take a lemon juice if you're having cramp and all. So go for lemon juice. You can go for mix the salt in a water of a glass and just drink it. You need massage over that part where you are feeling pain. So one should go for the massage over the part where he or she is feeling pain, which is the very important thing. Preventing overextraction of muscles and excessive hot and cold play. So if you are having cramp, so you are not allowed at all to go in excessive hot or excessive leg cramp, right? The causes of cramp is due to overstraining, sometimes loss of water from the body, sometimes because of sweating and all, right? If you are not doing physical fitness activities on a regular basis, it may happen. Sometimes if the climate is not good, it may happen, right? Now let's talk about strain. Okay, now we are talking about strain. What is strain? We are going to see now. So whenever we talk about strain is also called muscle. Okay, strain is also called muscle pull, and the injury of muscles which caused by overstretching of muscles due to the violent pull. In other words, we can say that strain are the violent stretch of muscles beyond the normal limit, right? So strain, if I am going to talk about this, muscle pull. Strain is also called muscle pull. MCQ में आएगा क्या क्वेश्चन, ध्यान से पढ़िए. Okay. So strain is also called muscle pull, overstretching of muscle. Overstretching of muscles. So whenever there is an overstretching of muscles, it is we call it termed as strain, right? So muscles की overstretching हुई है normal extent से ज़्यादा, right? So whenever there is a overstretching of muscle than the normal level, I'll call it strain. इतना clear है बच्चे? Now see, strain is an injury which is also called muscle pull. Yeah, we all clear it about. It is the injury of muscles which is caused by the overstress and overstretch of muscles ligament due to the violent pull. So whenever you overstretch your muscles, or is the pull of your body, so this definitely leads a problem. So beyond the normal level, if you stretch your body, there will be strain, right? In strain injury, muscle fibers get damaged or ruptured, right? So we have muscle fibers in our body, and if these muscle fibers are stretched, overstretched if I say, right? So if the muscle fibers are overstretched, this problem we called it what? Strain. So sometimes there is a loss of function of the injured muscles, local inflammation, swelling over the affected part. Mild strain is also known as cramp. Sometimes there is a mild strain, we also called it cramp. It can be prevented by performing warm-up or avoiding jerky movements or actions, right? So if we talk about the, if we talk about the sports arena, so if you do exercise without warming up, and after doing exercise, if you are not doing cooling down, generally strain may occur, right, dear students? So now we need to think about riser and pricer. Okay, so which is the very important thing, this riser and pricer that we are going to talk about for the management of this soft tissue injury, right? Riser compression, elevation, rehabilitation. In the same way, if I put here P, riser का full form क्या है बच्चे? Rest, ice, compression, elevation and rehabilitation. If I put P, it means prevention. Okay, sometimes circulation, sometimes compression, right? So riser and riser we need to keep in mind. Okay, what is the full form of riser? It is asking in a 1 mark question, right? So if we talk about riser, the P stands for protection or prevention. So rather than writing prevention, you write here protection. Okay, protection is newly updated, so we need to write here protection. Okay, it is 2 minutes. So P stands here for protection, R for rest, C for compression, E for elevation. E for elevation. Got it? And if we talk about R, so it is referral or rehabilitation. I hope this much part is clear to everyone. Now we need to think about the first stage management of strain. Okay, so let's see what is the first stage management of a strain. The treatment management step strain injury is referred as riser. That is the rest, ice, compression, elevation and rehabilitation. Okay, rest to the player and completely restrict the movement of affected part. So if you are having a strain, so you are not at all allowed to show any movement with that affected part. The next thing that we need to think here is complete rest. So an injured person should go for complete rest and not at all allowed for showing any movement. Immediately apply cold compression over ice on the affected part. Stop internal bleeding if internal bleeding is there. Repeat the process several times for the some intervals. Right? So whenever there is a problem in a skin or muscles, overstretching and all, you must go for what? You must go for the ice compression. Okay? You should go for the ice pack. Compression bandage should be applied over the affected part to reduce the swelling. Elevated the affected part above the level of heart and sprint support. So after 2 days of applying inflammatory cream to reduce the swelling, give gentle massage. After 2 days, right? So जब आपने inflammatory cream लगाना है तो after 2 days you will provide them what? The inflammatory cream. You should hot and cold bath you can give so that the swelling can be reduced, and you should go for the massage. The massage should be given to the patient. After the treatment is over, complete recovery and rehabilitation. It means by doing some progressive exercise, some exercise should be performed. So if we talk about riser, that is the protection, rest, ice, compression, elevation and rehabilitation. These things should be there. These things should be following this various kinds of problem. Next, the last thing that we are going to talk about is sprain. So sprain is the injury, right? What is sprain? Sprain is the injury and it is basically related with the torn of ligament. It overstretching and twisting of joints. So when your joint is twisted, we called it what? I called it the ligament problem, right? So whenever there is a problem with the ligament, whenever there is a problem with the overstretching of ligament, so these all problems come under the sprain, right? So sprain is basically, it is the injury of ligament on torn ligament around the joints. It occurred due to the overstretching of ligament or twisting of joint. It lead to swelling and all. So basically, bachcho, we need to follow what? We need to follow the same thing, that is the sprain. Sprain is what? Sprain is basically it's a torn of ligament. It's a overstretching of ligament. So you should go for rest, that is the pricer, P for protection, R for rest, I for ice, C for compression, E for elevation and R for rehabilitation. These all things you must go so that the things can be fine. So cramp, strain, sprain. So we have covered the soft tissue injury, that is the muscle injury and other, right? So we have covered all the things which is come under the soft tissue injury, that is the skin injury, contusion, laceration and so many things. We had also covered the muscle injury, that is the cramp, strain and sprain. Bachcho, please keep this thing in mind that sprain is related to the torn of ligament and strain is overstretching like muscle pull. Cramp is when the contractibility of your muscles is affected. These things are very important in our mind to go for. Otherwise, there will be a lot of issues. Got it, students? I hope you understand all the points properly. With this, take care. Bye-bye. A lot of love and blessings to all of you.